Okay, let's start. In previous class, what we seen? We seen strings and arrays, right? We seen strings, some basic Scala language introduction. Then we seen string, and we seen arrays. We seen how to create an array. What is an array? How to create an array? How to access an array, right? Today, what we are going to do? We'll we will see immutable array. Last class we see immutable array. Now we are going to see mutable array. Mutable array. Let me close this one. Okay. Today we are going to see what? Mutable array. What is mutable array? First, what is immutable array? Once we create an array, what is first? What is immutable array? Once we create an array with some values, we cannot add new values to existed array. We cannot increase the size and we cannot decrease the size of array. So to resolve that problem, Scala given mutable array. Mutable array means dynamically we can allocate a size to array, and we can dynamically increase the size, and dynamically we can decrease the size of array. So this is called mutable array. In Scala, for mutable, they given separate package. They given separate package called Scala dot collection dot mutable package. This mutable package contain all mutable classes. So in this, array buffer is one of the mutable class. This array buffer can hold same as array, but advantage of this array buffer is we can increase and we can decrease the size of array dynamically. We can increase and we can decrease the size of array dynamically. So this is one of the advantage of mutable array. Mutable array. Okay. So generally, if you create array buffer with array, we get error. We get error. So dynamically, if you want increase array, then we go for mutable array. So mutable array name is called array buffer. Mutable array name is called array buffer. This array buffer by default not available. So if you want to use this array buffer class, we have to import this package. Let's first try to create array buffer class so that we understand. Let me start IDE. You can use IDE or you can open console. So open CMD and open type Scala. Type Scala. It will start what? It will start Scala cell, interactive cell. Okay, here I am trying to create array buffer, new array buffer. So here, see, I am not assigning any values to, I am not specifying any size here. So I got an error saying not found type array buffer. So if you want to use this one, import Scala dot collection dot mutable dot array buffer sorry. Spelling is collection. So array buffer is imported. Then create array buffer. Now we can able to create array buffer class, right? Then once we create an array buffer, we can add elements. We can add elements to array buffer. So by using this plus operator, we can add elements. You can add any number of elements to array buffer. You can add n number of elements to array buffer. So dynamically it will increase array buffer size. You can add n number of elements to this array buffer class, but only one thing, it will accept similar type of data. So whatever the type we created, right, at the time of array buffer creation, it allows only those kind of data. So array and array buffer can hold homogeneous elements. It doesn't allow heterogeneous elements. To print array and array buffer, we use for loop. Or use fruits dot collect dot for each println. So collect method is not presented in array buffer. So what we can do, we can use for each method, for I fruits. Then here I'm writing println I, then close for loop. So it is printing all the elements. So this is for each loop. What for each loop do? It reads each element and stores into I. We are printing I. So first iteration it reads first element, second iteration it reads the second element, third iteration it reads third element, fourth iteration it reads fourth element. This loop will execute until the size of array buffer. So for each loop is the best loop to navigate or iterate collection framework and arrays. So no need to write initialization logic, no need to write condition logic, no need to write incrementation logic. Automatically, internally this one repeats the number of elements presented in array or array buffer or collection. So every iteration it reads first element to end up the element. So this is called for each loop. So you got point, right? Array buffer is a mutable class. It increases size dynamically. Based on the number of elements we are adding to array buffer, it will increase array buffer size dynamically. Okay. Next important one, sorry, 1 minute. Yep. Next important one in Scala is tuple. Tuple is like array, but tuple can hold heterogeneous objects. It maintains order of elements. Whatever the order we insert into tuple, it maintains the same order. And tuple can hold multiple types. You can add integer, you can add double, you can add character, you can add string, you can add any kind of objects into tuple. So tuple we call it as row. In RDBMS we call it as row. So row we in Scala we call it as tuple. Tuple can hold collection of heterogeneous objects. We can define tuple by using parenthesis, bracket, this bracket. So we declare tuple by using in this syntax. Tuple can be declared, tuple can be declared by using this parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis, we can write any number of columns. It can hold what? Collection of heterogeneous objects. Collection of heterogeneous objects. You can take string, you can take integer, you can take double. You can take any type of objects into tuple. So we use tuple concept in our Spark programming to read records from table, and we create each record as one tuple. Then we create multiple tuples. Then we store into table like that. So tuple means it's a like record. It can hold what? Collection of heterogeneous objects. Collection of heterogeneous objects. A tuple can have multiple inner tuples also. A tuple can have inner tuples also. A tuple can have inner tuple. So let me create first one tuple. So this is my tuple. I'm creating one tuple. I'm creating one tuple. Then I want to access this tuple. I want to access this tuple. To access tuple, we use every tuple index starts from 1. To access tuple, we use dot underscore notation. To access tuple, we use dot underscore n notation. Here n is a index. Here n is a index. Here n is a index. N is a index. Index starts from 1. Index starts from 1. So to access elements in tuple, we use dot underscore n notation. So where n is index, index starts from 1. So I want to access name of this person. Then we use my underscore tuple dot 1. I want to access salary. This is salary column. Then my underscore tuple dot underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4. Let me execute this one. My underscore tuple dot underscore 1. It returns what? Name of name. First element. I want to access salary. Then 4. I want to access age. Then 2. So by using dot underscore notation, we can access tuple elements. By using dot underscore notation, we can access tuple elements. I said we can take multiple inner tuples also. We can take inner tuple. Let me take one inner tuple. So I am taking val tuple 1 equal to, I am taking inner tuples. So this is index 1, right? This is index 2. This inner tuple is index 3, index 4. This inner tuple is index 5. I want access inner index, I want access 4. Then how do we access? Tuple underscore 1. Tuple tup underscore 1 underscore, sorry, dot underscore. If I use 1, I got value 1. If I use 2, I got value 2. If I use 3, observe what will we get? We get complete inner tuple. But I don't want complete inner tuple. In inner tuple, I want a second element. We use what? Tuple underscore dot underscore 3 dot underscore 2. Then we got 4, right? So we can access inner tuples in this way. If you store inner tuples, we access in this way. Okay, so sometimes we can create a tuple inside a tuple. So to access inner tuple also we follow dot underscore n notation. Dot underscore n, dot underscore n. First n, second n1. N1 is related to inner tuple. N is related to outer tuple. Okay, so you can take inner tuples also. And next one, coming to next topic in Scala is collection. Collections are very important. Collections are very important. So what is the advantage of collection? Collection means we can store group of values or collection of values. Collection of values. There are many collection classes in Scala. There are many collection classes in Scala. Each predefined class in Scala extends either trait or abstract class. Each predefined Scala collection class, each predefined Scala collection class extends either trait or abstract class. In Scala, trait means in Java language interface. Scala we call it as trait. Java language they will call interfaces. Both terminology is different, purpose is same. Trait means trait contain only abstract methods. So we will discuss what is trait in later class. Later class. So trait is equivalent to interface in Java. So every collection class extends either trait or abstract class. Okay. So there are multiple collection classes in Scala. There are multiple collection classes in Scala. Many. In that, most commonly used collection classes we are going to discuss. Most commonly used collection classes we are going to discuss. As part of this course, we are discussing not all the collection framework classes, mostly used collection framework classes we are discussing. Let's see. So mostly used collection classes list, map, set, and iterable. List, map, set, iterable. Let's coming to list. List is same as array. List is same as array. Means what is array? Array is a collection of homogeneous elements, right? Array is a collection of homogeneous elements. Collection of homogeneous elements, right? So list is also a collection of homogeneous elements. List is also a collection of homogeneous elements. Then what is the difference between array and list? Array is a fixed size. Array is a immutable type, but list is not immutable. List is not immutable. Only one difference is list is not immutable. List maintains insertion order. List maintains insertion order. List extends predefined trait is linear sequence trait, and it creates linked list internally. It creates linked list internally. It allows duplicate. Main feature of list is it allows duplicates. It allows duplicates. Okay. How do we create list? How do we create a list? See, val list equal to list of values 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50 list. Then how can we access list? If I print list, it will print all the elements. It will print all the elements. But I want to print one by one. I want to print one by one. You can use for each loop. For I into list. Then println I. Close this list. So by using for each loop, we can navigate list. By using for each loop, we can navigate list. Okay. So it maintains insertion order. It allows duplicates. Let me create one more list. So list 2. I'm adding duplicate element. I'm adding duplicate element. I'm adding duplicate element. Let's print for each list 2. Println I, close for each. So it is printing duplicate elements also, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 60, 30, 70. So it is printing duplicate elements also. So list allows duplicates. List allows duplicates. It maintains insertion order. Main important points is list allows duplicates. It maintains insertion order. Internally, it will create linked list. It will extend trait called linear sequence trait. It is similar to array. It is similar to array. Here, index starts from 0. Index starts from 0. Like arrays, list index also starts from 0. We can use index to access elements, or we can use for each loop to navigate list. We can use index to access elements. If you want to access all the elements, we go for what? For each loop. For each loop is the best loop to navigate collection framework and arrays. For each is the best loop to navigate collections and arrays. So we can access list by using index, or we can navigate collection framework list by using for each loop. And basic operations on list collection. So there are some predefined functions in list class. Head, tail is empty. What is head? It returns first element of list. It returns first element of list. So list dot head. It will return first element. There is one more function, list dot tail. Except first element, it will return all the elements. Except first element, it will return all the elements. Then there is one more method called is empty. Is empty method returns true when list contain no values. If list contain values, it returns false. So these are some important basic operations in list. And one more advantage is we can take nested list inside a list. So I am taking val nest list equal to what I'm taking list. Inside list, I'm taking one more list. Sorry. Inside list, I'm taking one more list. So this is called what? Nested list. Nested list. How can we access nested list? If I use index nest list of 0, I will get first list object. From that first list object, I want access first element. We use 0. So we got 1, right? First to nested list of 0 returns first list. In that first list, I want first element. We are using this syntax. And we can use for each loop to navigate nested list. Let's try to write a for each loop. For I implies first one is nest list, right? Nest list. So from this we get entire list, right? So this will return first list object to I. Then I am writing one more for j implies I. Then internally what I am writing? I am writing println j. So before closing this one, I am going to explain here. See, first it nest list returns first list object. First iteration, it will return first object, first list object in I. From first list object, I am reading each element in first list object. I am printing. After that, I am printing some message. Println. So to segregate each list, what I am doing, I am writing some underscore. Finally, I am closing main for loop. Observe, this is first list processed, second list processed, third list processed. Okay, so for each loop is the best loop to navigate collection framework. And list contains some more operations. Sort method. Sort method arranges data in ascending order. Default is ascending order. Default is sorting order. So sorted method, not sort method. So sorted method arranges list in sorted order. Size method returns number of elements presented in list. Max method returns maximum values in list. So let me create a list val my list equal to list of what I'm doing. I'm entering values in this way. 15243. 15243. So this is my list. Then what I'm doing, my list dot sorted. It will arrange data in sorting order. Then it contain one more method, size method. It will return number of elements in list. It has one more method, max method. It will return maximum element in a list. There is one more method, min method. It returns minimum value. And let's try to perform sum. So it is performing sum of all elements from list. So these are different methods presented in list interface. So one more product is there. It will product means multiplying all the elements. Internally it will multiply all the elements and returns the value. So these are some important methods. These are some important methods presented in list class. Okay. So next important one, map. Before going to start map, let's discuss array versus list. Array and list both are used for homogeneous elements. Array and list both are used for homogeneous elements. Homogeneous elements. Array is a static in size. List is dynamic in size. Both array and list can be accessed by using index. Index starts from 0. Both index starts from 0. Only one difference is array is a static in size. List is dynamic in size. List is dynamic in size. Both allows duplicates. Both maintains insertion order. Okay. Next important collection is map. Map means key value pair. Map is a collection of key value pair. First value is treated as a key. Second element is treated as value. In a map, first element is treated as a key and second element is treated as a value. So map is a collection of key value pair. Map is a collection of key value pair. Let's take map. So we declare map by using this syntax. Map we declare by using this syntax. So this is the syntax. And how can we access elements of map? How can we access elements of map? How can we access elements of map? If you want to access elements of map, if you pass a key, it will return value. For example, I want to access one key value pair. So if you know key, if you pass key, it will return value. So this is the syntax of map nature in anywhere. It may be in Java, it may be in Scala. What is the map feature? If you pass a key, it will return value. So we can get only keys, we can get only values. We can get only keys, we can get only values. We will see it later. So map is a collection of key value pairs. Key must be unique. Value may be duplicate, but key must be unique. Scala, we have two types of maps. Immutable map. So these are default and mutable map. Immutable map and mutable map. What is the difference between immutable and mutable? Once we default one is immutable map. Once we declare map with some key value pairs, we cannot add new key value pair to existed map. Once we create a map, with some values, once we create a map with some key value pairs, we cannot increase and we cannot decrease. We cannot add new key value pair and we cannot add new key value pair. Means we cannot increase the size. So to resolve that problem, they given mutable map. So scalar dot collection dot mutable dot map. From this you can add any number of key value pairs dynamically. Any number of key value pairs dynamically. Okay. So we created map. Then to access map, if you pass key, it will return value. If you pass key, it will return value. If you pass key, it will return value. So you have to know key. Otherwise, you cannot access value. Then how can we access only keys? How can we access only keys? So to access only keys, we have keys method. So we can use keys method. Map dot keys. It will return all keys. Map dot values. Map dot values. It will return all values. But I want to read what? Key. I want to read key. So if you know key, then only we can access what? Then only we can access elements, right? Then what I am doing, I am writing val key is equal to map dot keys. Map dot keys. Next I am writing for I implies keys. Then here I am writing print uh, map of I. Close this one. Can you guess? Is it executes and prints? Let me try. What will happen here? Let's use this syntax and write println map of I. Then close for loop. What is happening here? We didn't close one more bracket, right? We didn't close. Then close for. Then we see all keys as output by one. Yes or no? So if you know key, if you get keys, we can use for each loop to iterate that key. Then we can pass that key to map reference. Then if you pass key, you will get value. So in this way, we can print a key value pairs. If you want to print clearly, so you can use this syntax. So println key is I plus value or value is close for. Only one thing difference is here we need to close I first plus operator. To concatenate, we have to use this one. Except that nothing. So we got key is A, value is 4. Key is B, value is 2. Key is C, value is 3. So like that we can print values. Okay. So only one thing, map, by default map, right? Default map is immutable map. Default map is immutable map. So we cannot add elements to map. If we try to add elements, this is temporary addition. This is temporary pair. Once you print, it will print only old values. So this one is temporarily added. Once we execute again, we have actual list actual map values, but not this newly added element. So if you want to add elements permanently, we have to declare mutable map. Mutable map. Mutable map is presented in this package. All mutable classes are presented in Scala.collection.mutable package. So map class also, mutable map class also presented in this package. What is the advantage of this one? See, we are taking some map with A key, B key, C key. Then after some time, we are adding some element, mutable map Z. Then it will add new element to map. New element to map. So this is the only one difference compared to mutable map and immutable map. In immutable map, if you try to add element, it will add temporarily but not permanently. Once you display that map, you cannot see newly added element into map. So if you want to add new elements dynamically, new key value pair dynamically to map, we go for mutable map. Mutable map. Okay. This is the only difference between map and immutable map. We just see keys method is presented, it will return all keys. Values method presented, it will return all values. I said one more feature here we have to discuss is mutable map. See, in mutable map, we can add n number of key value pairs, right? N number of key value pairs. Assume if you are trying to add duplicate key, if you are trying to add duplicate key, what will happen? It will override existed key. It will override existed value with new value. If key is already available, it will remove existed value, stores new value. So this is the nature of map. And next important collection framework is set interface. Set also allows homogeneous elements. Set also allows homogeneous elements. What is the difference between set and list? What is the difference between set and list? List allows duplicates, set doesn't allow duplicate. Only one difference is set doesn't allow duplicate, list allows duplicate. Remaining is same as list. Remaining same as list. Set doesn't allow duplicates, list allow sorry, set doesn't allow duplicates, list allows duplicate. List allows duplicate. In Scala, we have two types of sets, immutable set and mutable set. So default one is immutable set. If you want a mutable set, we go for this one. Okay, how to create a set is val set, val s equal to set. It will create immutable set. Once we create without values, we cannot add elements to this one. We cannot add elements to this one. So that's why they given what? Mutable set. They given mutable set. Mutable set. If we declare this one as a mutable set, then we can add elements to this set. So how to declare immutable set with values is val s2 equal to set I am passing values. So let me see. I am creating a set. I am creating a set. Then how can we access the set values? By using for each. You can use for each to access set elements. So for I s2, then println I close. So it is printing all the values. It is printing all the values. S2 of 0, S2 of 1, S2 of 2, S3 of 3, S3 of 4, S3 of 5. So we have 5 elements. 5 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if value is presented, it is returning Boolean value. Then how to access individually? How to add elements means we can use add method. How can we access individually means we can iterate what? For each loop. And this contains some predefined variables called max variable, min variable. So it will return s2 dot max return maximum value of set, s2 dot min returns minimum value of set. And one more important one, this is my set, right? S2 is a set. I want to convert to set to list. Then we can convert val list 1 equal to s2 dot to list. So we can convert to set to list. So set contain to list method. It will convert to list. So these are list of values. And we can convert list to set. We can convert list to set. List to set. List also contain to set function. So it will convert list to set. Assume I have a list val list to equal to list of 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 2 comma 4 comma 1 comma 5. So it contain duplicate values, right? What I'm doing, list 2 dot to set. When I try to convert list to set, it eliminates all duplicates. It will create a set with unique values. It will create a set with unique values. So it will eliminate all duplicates and it will store unique values. Okay. So set contain a method. So we can convert to set to list. We can convert to list to set. So we know these methods. Head means it returns first element of set. Tail means except the first element, it will return all the elements. IsEmpty method returns true when set doesn't have any elements. If set has any elements, it will return false. And next one, iterator. Iterator is another predefined class. What is the advantage of iterator? Iterator is used to navigate. Instead of for each loop, we can use iterator to navigate. Iterator contains two variables. Next variable has next variable. So most of the time, instead of iterator, we use for each loop for navigation of collection. So this is very important. To iterate RS, to iterate collection, we go for for each loop. We have a iterator facility. By using iterator, we can iterate elements of collection. Every collection implements iterator, so that we can iterate elements of every collection. So this one contain next has next. Next initially points to iterator initially points to before first element. Whenever we call has next element, it will check whether list contain next element or not. If it contain next element, then it will return boolean value true. Initially it points to first before first element, right? When we call has next, we have a next element. That's why it will return true. What next to function do? Iterator next function do. When we call next, it will move cursor from current location to next element and returns that value. So this is next and has next. So I'm creating some collection. So this is my collection. Value val itr equal to iterator of hello comma Srinivas comma welcome comma to comma Scala comma world. I'm creating some list of objects. Then when I call if sorry, for or use while itr dot has next. So I said initially it is pointing to before first element, right? It returns true. Once it returns true, I'm reading first element by using itr dot next. So it will point to first element and returns that element. Returns that element. Like this, it control moves to all the elements. Control moves to all the elements. So iterator has some predefined functions, min function, max function. So it will return minimum value of iterator object, maximum value of iterator object, and number of elements in iterator object. Length also similar to size. Both size and length returns number of elements in a collection. Number of elements in a collection. Okay. So do you have any queries in today class, team? No? In tomorrow class, what we are going to do is, we will see functional oriented language features. What is function? How to define function? Types of functions? How to call functions? How function called outside? We will see functional oriented language features tomorrow class. Okay. So that's it for today. If you have any queries, please ask me.